your riddle. I hate riddles. Whoa. Clip it out of context. Clip it and ship it. Clip it and ship it. For riddle, I hate them. They make me feel. I hate things that make me feel dumb. And that's like a lot of things in this world. What I want to watch today is new tech for Smash Ultimate. That's right. We got new tech going into 2024. It's right. It's the year of giving. It is Techmas, presented to us by good old Gimmer. There it is. Look, there he is. Gimmer's Lab. If you're interested in tech and things of the sort, you got to subscribe to this guy. And we're gonna look in depth at each of the techs that he has revealed to us thus far, and we're gonna give our thoughts on it. How applicable are they? Is it gonna be useful to me personally? Stuff like that. Stay tuned. We're gonna watch it. So the name of the first tech called double shield canceling. So is the idea that you hold both shield buttons? I need this explained to me. I'm not seeing anything crazy. This dude loves Lucas. All of his tech videos are all Lucas. Full momentum, jump out of shield. It's kind of the idea. That's so niche. Oh, I've seen this before. Jump up, be out of shield instead. There are some people who already do this. Not me, though.
That being said, if you go from a neutral stick position to left, right, or down, and then within 10 frames of that input, let go of one or both of the shield buttons, you'll still roll or spot dodge, which means the game is still recognizing and holding the buffer for those inputs.
The buffer
to the jump button. It turns a nearly impossible input into something you can do consistently. This creates new movement options.
So the only question I have is, why would I use this over parrying? That's how I feel about it. You're kind of like locking yourself into like hard shielding something by doing this tech, whereas you could just parry.
All you have to do is hold both shield buttons,
But
tap L,
re-recorded.
and then within 10 frames of tapping L, slide B to A. Again, very, very easy.
So
Perfect IDJ
like
aerial,
that
which means it
wouldn't
comes out
really
in a
work
very- which
for
you
like
can't
Zero
normally
Suit
do with full hop aerials.
because
This
I'll
allows
Zare
for
instead.
super low out of shield
Because you're holding shield while pressing an attack. I'm pretty sure you'll get
It allows
Zare.
you to IDJ where they
I
hit your
think.
shield.
IDJ Zare Pog. What about Snake or Joker? Joker, you want to grab. That's why I'm saying like as Joker, your grab's definitely your best out of shield option,
Now, as
just
you all
because
know
it's
by
such a
now,
good tool
I
to
think
use. Snake, on the other hand, like if this only works for nairs, then like I'm not trying to do Snake nair out of shield. Oh, he's doing down air with that one. But you don't want to do IDJ down air because they'll just fall out. Back air would be good with Snake.
B. But if you input the short hop aerial macro and then press up B during the jump squat, it will not cancel. Instead, the up B will come out on the first frame you are airborne. So as I said before, if you do the short hop aerial macro and then press up B, it'll buffer a frame 1 up B.
Yeah, that's what Chunky Kong was doing to me. He was doing a lot of random up Bs against me. This probably only gets a slightly easier foot slow to shield, huh? Yeah. Which I don't really want to do that much. So, I mean, I think it's definitely useful tech for very specific characters, right? Like, I think Donkey Kong, who actually struggles a lot with, like, that kind of shit, right? Like, he has to deal with, like, people constantly crossing up his shield, and he has to rely on it, like, a lot. I would just, like I said earlier, like, I would opt to parry 9 times out of 10 in these situations. I wouldn't really, like, choose to hard shield, knowing that I'm going to do, like, an out-of-shield option. I'd rather just parry and get something, like, a little bit better, right? I think it's very good for like very specific characters, right? Like he even said Donkey Kong. I think that was what was happening to me when I played against Chunky Kong. That shit was annoying. That shit was really fucking good. Shout out to Nair nerfs for Zero Suit. Woo! She needed that. It have to be very character specific, but I really think that wouldn't be too applicable just because like the problem with like Zero Suit's forward air out of shield specifically is that most characters when they do a landing aerial will low profile it, but rather just parry. That's how I feel. I do think it's a useful tech. I'd rate this one a 5 out of 10 tech. On to the next one. This one's ledge regrab traps.
Cable! I'm not subscribing to that fool.
Subscribing to the channel? Pretty cash
I
money.
won't take no for an answer! What makes you think I'm gonna give a damn what you say anyway?
Not subscribing? Kinda cringe. Is he just going to explain that you get less iframes when you
In the transition
regrab?
of Smash 4, when someone grabs a ledge, lets go of it, whether it's just normally or being trumped, and then regrabs it again, they don't get their ledge invulnerability back. That means there's about 22 frames where they can get hit during the ledge regrab animation. Ledge jumps go from a 2-frame
Mashing
punish window
tech.
to a 4-frame punish window.
So is the idea
The
to
ledge
like
jump
use
into an
a hitbox to cover
If it hits, sweet, you're good.
the ledge grab?
If you cover that 15-frame window, you'll hit everything.
That's assuming
Ledge
they
jump.
buff or something. Yeah, again, this is like, I don't think this one's very good. I do think it's good to know that you get less iframes when you regrab ledge. I really feel like it's just a matter of like stalling. I don't know, like if the person on the ledge just doesn't panic and mash an option, they'll be fine. I would simply react. Like me as a top player, right? Like I'd be like, okay, he mistimed his thing, so I'm just gonna wait, right? There's no real immediate danger. I can react to him setting up another down air. If he runs off in down airs, it'll sour spot. If he runs off in back airs, there's so much hit stun, I can just react and tech. So like, I just wait and see what happens. That's why most of the time, like, it requires time to set up to hit somebody that's like regrabbing ledge most of the time. So I don't mind regrabbing ledge like 9 times out of 10. You have to have a very like specific tool that's really good at hitting below ledge, like Donkey Kong's low angle F tilt, or like most sword characters down tilts, like that. Something like I see Dr. Mario right now, like he could down tilt ledge and then just up B me at like 80 and I die. Like Rob's another one. Like he's just not gonna with me if I regrab ledge. Okay, the next tech is called shield shifting.
If you liked it,
My guess is that it's gonna be angling your shield higher so that it hits your shield sooner. Nope, never mind. I don't know. I don't like that. This seems like scrub tech, dude. Like it's just moving your hurt box so you don't get shield grabbed. But if I'm getting shield grabbed, bro, I'm spot dodging, or I'm just mashing an option that beats grab.
If they spot dodge and you assume they're gonna go for a spot dodge cancel,
This isn't Z-axis bullshit. It's just hurt box
if
shifting.
they do it. Here's some cool examples of character shield shifting in situations.
Here's what I think. If you shield after hitting someone's shield, you're a freaking coward and you're a baby, and you shouldn't even be hitting my shield in general. Because you're scared of getting hit, you fucking pussy. Yeah, this one's even more niche than any of the other two that we just saw. Like, I guess I only speak for Zero, right? Where like, if I know someone's gonna grab after I hit them with Nair, I either spot dodge boost kick or I mash jab. And also, like, most of the time people choose these options, they're actually not reacting to them hitting your shield. They're gonna do this forward air regardless, because most people are bots and idiots. So, good example right here is raw players love rolling out of shield or love forward airing out of shield. You give them the opportunity, right? Link players, they're going to nair out of shield every time. Ness players, nair out of shield every time. It doesn't matter if you hit it or not. You just have to be close enough to where it looks like the nair is going to hit. Yeah, my fellow tether grab enjoyers, we simply, this mix will never work on us because we simply do not grab out of shield. That is not an option. Where this would work versus like low-level players. For maximizing punish against low-level players, which you really shouldn't need to do if you're playing against bad players. You can just probably outplay them. If you're better. If you're garbage, have fun. Next tech. Ledge slip macro. I don't do ledge slips. I don't find a use for them really. Oh, I can't do this. I have tap jump. Wouldn't a ledge slip up air on CSS set up for a potential kill? No. If you're going for this, you suck.
Talk about ledge slipping.
I just like tap jump. I don't like changing my controls.
Something that I think exists.
I actually do think that ledge slipping is a really good tech to learn, especially if your character has like really good like lingering hitboxes and edge guarding tools. If you're not confident going off stage, I feel like this really doesn't apply to you. But if you want to bring your gameplay to the next step, edge guarding is pretty important. And if your character has like trouble covering that like area that's like at ledge or right below ledge, then this is really good for you.
For up forward, your run skid will cancel into teeter. On the second frame of teeter, you can quickly move from up forward to forward.
So up forward is technically better if you're a tap jump champ.
The 2-frame macro is in effect. You will start to go off
Makes
the ledge.
countering recoveries easier. That is true. Yes.
Combines your teeter animation and
it's
your
definitely the best use for this.
How long it takes.
See, the reason this wouldn't be good for Zero Suit is because if I just hit somebody with forward air 1, because forward air 2 won't hit, then cool, man. You're gonna beat me back to stage and then I get ledge trapped. Epic. I'd rather just jump and set up a down air rather than do ledge slip if I wanted to do that. Up air trolling. There's never a situation where I would do ledge slip up air. Like maybe ledge slip back air, but at that point, like I could just do run off back air and cover the same amount of space. But not applicable for Zero Suit. Definitely applicable for a lot of other characters. Would recommend learning this one. I think I've said everything I need to on this one, but this one's really good. Ledge slit macro. This is something that people have been trying to discover for a while now. Melee, what the heck? I do not care for melee. Boosted pivot tilts.
While running, press back on the control stick to go into your run pivot animation. And then a frame later, hit the
I don't have tilt stick, but I do this manually.
Assuming tilt stick is on. And on frame 5 of the run pivot, your move will come out facing the direction you are going, and you'll slide a bit. You can do this with up tilt, down tilt, and forward tilt.
All right, so my thoughts on this one, very useful. I think being able to do like basically tilts while having forward momentum is really important for a lot of characters, right? There's a lot of characters that have like, we'll say down tilt up smash confirms. I know Greninja is on the screen right now, and he's one of them, but Diddy Kong's another one, or like down tilt, like up air confirms with some characters. They got that, like Pyra, for example, you know. Definitely worth learning. The fact that there is a consistent way to get an insane amount of boost out of your tilt, pretty good. So not something I would do. I don't have tilt stick. So when I do this, I just press the A button. Something for you nerds to lab out, not me. Next tech, double fast falling. Is he gonna, okay, so I think the mechanics behind this is the fact that when you start an aerial, you stop fast falling. But I guess if you hold diagonally, you won't continue fast falling. Or you will continue fast falling instead of stopping. So how do you do it with Nair?
In this video, I'm going to talk about auto fast falling, then input an auto fast fall aerial with the C-stick. You'll go into your slow fall for a few frames. And then the auto fast fall will cause you to fast fall again. I
didn't know you could just hold down. I just re-input the down every time. I mean, I think it's good. This is kind of one of those things that people are like already doing without real. It's exactly what he explained. It's something that people are already doing without really understanding it, or they're not really thinking too hard about it. Like I said earlier, I kind of just manually fast fall each time I do like an aerial. Just fine with me. I mean, like the little bit of time that it takes to like get to the ground doesn't really matter to me. I feel like saving those like 1 to 2 frames isn't really that important. The other thing that I think is important to take away from this, if you don't already know, is the fact that when you're fast falling and you do an aerial, you have to re-input the fast fall if you want to fast fall. If you're trying to avoid reversals on ledge where like people are trying to like fuck with you, it's a good way to do it. Spargo does this a lot when he's recovering. Whenever people would like ask me for advice on like, oh, how do you play so fast, or like how do you like whatever, I think it's very, very important to learn how to play at your fastest so that you can learn when you have to slow it down. Knowing what your max speed is a good baseline, because like a lot of like your friends that you might lose to at home, you probably think they're pretty fast. They get their aerials out. They always beat you to the punch every single time. That's because they know how to do everything as fast as possible. But once you like adapt to that pace and like you start beating them and they can't mix it up, it becomes a back and forth with your friend, and it's no longer one player is better than the other. Definitely good to just know or have in the pocket. You know, I don't think this is like a mandatory tech, and I think calling it tech is a little bit of a stretch. That's just me. Buffered reverse tilts. Oh, I don't understand the mechanics behind this. I do that all the time though. I spam this when I play as Snake. What's the joystick input here? Is he going down and then up? Why? You don't have to do that. You can just manually turn around and then up tilt. Okay, yeah, that's like one that I would do. This is definitely something that's very character specific that's good, but it's very good. That's very good for calling out like rolls, right? For like Roy specifically. Am I weird for thinking that this is how I would naturally do this kind of input instead of like considering it tech?
One important note.
Like if I wanted to up tilt there, that's exactly what I would input.
Gate, which means you'll have the advantage, but you can't straight punish it. On shield drop dash attack, Roy's down tilt will hit first getting beat out by the dash.
These are good examples. You could also do that on shield drop too. You can do these buffers out of anything that has lag.
Is on like frame 18, meaning the up tilt.
Like your shield stun, you could buffer out of.
So fast.
Like hitting their shield, you can buffer out of.
Combo starters.
You just have to have like a window to buffer. My thoughts, honestly, that's like a 9 out of 10 tech. Yeah, I feel like that's something that most of people should already be doing. Shield pressure is such a huge part of Smash. Like if your opponent is trying to mash bullshit out of shield, you should know if you can fuck them up for that. And one way of doing that is just straight up beating them to the punch, depending on what they choose to do for their option. There have been like layers of mind games for that kind of tech, kind of already discovered. It's kind of been going on for a while, and like Fox literally specifically does it a lot, right? We all play against light a lot. I don't know, like that just like happens all the time. Very, very situationally useful. I would say if you see a top player of your character doing it, just copy what they're doing. There's probably a good reason for it. Flick SDI, dash walk SDI, and triple SDI.
Or triple
I actually,
SDI.
you know what? Now that I think about it, I've heard him and Charles talk about this pretty recently. A Gyat Day. This one is crazy. Yeah, being able to get more SDI inputs is preposterous. This one I would actually consider learning as a top player.
During hit stop, you can press the control stick around to move your character before they go into hit stun. These little white flashes indicate inputs of SDI.
Normally when I SDI Steve stuff, I'll go like this. I'll bounce between these three. Bro is buffering SDI while he's hitting someone's shield. That's so Smash Ultimate.
So to dash walk SDI, you want to anticipate when you're going to get hit. And while you're in hit stop,
cool.
Hit the control stick in the way you want to SDI. Then flick the C stick. And while the C stick is being held, you'll technically be in a neutral stick position. Cool little option.
Still a Mario Party minigame, though.
Hit someone.
Ladies and gentlemen, Light will never lose to another Steve because of jab.
If it whips,
it is lit. He better learn this shit. He's gonna learn it. Yeah, I feel like that SDI tech is specifically good against like Bayonetta and like Steve, and that's it. This is tech specifically for Steve haters, so that makes it a 10 out of tech for me. 10 out of 10 tech. 10 out of tech. That's a good one. I like that. So you just start SDIing before you get hit. Not necessarily. I mean, if you're getting hit, you can SDI. If you know you're gonna get hit, you should be buffering SDI, which is a crazy concept when I say it out loud, but that is the way it is. I think it's literally specifically useful for like people who are sick of losing to Steve. That's about it. If you don't want to get comboed by up tilt or jab anymore, stuff like that. Also Kazuya, no, I don't think it would really do that much against Kazuya, if I'm going to be honest. Maybe against like other Shotos like Ryu and Ken who like to mash tilts on your shit. People, you know, if you SDI versus Urasu, you should actually be ashamed of yourself though, because that means you can't beat me in a fair and honest match. But yeah, shoutouts to Gamer for Techmas. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Make sure you guys subscribe to him for more nerd-related content. You know, you learn a lot. He explains things very thoroughly. He's very passionate about the game. And subscribe to me too for showing this stuff to you guys. You guys have a great, wonderful new year. We're going into 2024 soon, and who knows? Who knows what's 2024's got in store? Maybe a new Smash announcement. Maybe March to goes to more tournaments. Maybe you subscribe to the channel. Bye-bye.